Hello. Today I'll be talking about Sentient, the product I've been working on for the past month or so now. My research targets the introspection illusion. As we all know, human judgment is not purely rational and it is prone to cognitive biases, where our brain prioritizes speed over accuracy, which leads to some errors. And when these rigid patterns are fueled by some negative emotions and negative feedback loops, CBT recognizes them as cognitive distortions. The core problem is that in metacognition, where we are thinking about our own thinking, the flaw is that observer is also the subject. As we all know, it is difficult to debug our own code. In similar sense, it is difficult to be very objective while we are debugging our own mind. So the research question is, how can we leverage an external objective or fine-tuned LLM to externalize this detection process? I think sentient is the answer, where we create a digital architecture designed to map the state of the user's mind. So, talking about the technical implementation and architecture design, we have used a fine-tuned version of Llama 3.2 NV model, which was optimized using Onslaught's 4-bit quantization for the efficiency, and we have fine-tuned this model using some specific Kaggle datasets based on distortion detection, bias detection, and also some emotion-labeled journal entries to help us detect the clinical nuances which the generic purpose models might have missed. The model is hosted in Google Cloud's Vertex AI, which helps us trigger the Gemini inference API also because it's in the same Google Cloud environment. The front end of the app is based on Next.js, and we use ShadCN UI components for the modern sleek look, and we use remote procedure calls to trigger the Gemini inference API, which extracts the entities and maps them to the emotions. Crucially, to handle sensitive psychometric data, we have implemented the RLS policy, the rule level security, which ensures that on the database level itself, there is isolation for each user. Talking about the results, our result proves that it is technically feasible to map the unstructured thoughts onto a structured cognitive framework. As you can see here, this is a very small snippet. I suggest you go through the website once. I've also put in a project walkthrough video link, which can help you understand how this mapping takes place. But as you can see that we can generate knowledge graphs where we will be able to connect specific entities like, let's say, work, manager, some activity related to like friends, your family, and we can map this to some specific distortions like catastrophizing or some biases like negative bias, and that creates a mental map of our mind and how we are thinking in certain situations and how the linking is how the links are there basically. Uh, but we must define a boundary because sentient identifies what the bias is, but it cannot contextualize why the bias is there. It lacks the empathetic history of a human therapist or or a medical professional, I might say. Therefore, this tool is positioned for preliminary diagnosis, where it can help patients capture the distortions before they enter the therapy session, or it can act as a extended arm for the therapists as well, where they use this tool for identifying the biases and the distortions. So there are few challenges which we faced. The main is the algorithmic bias, where the AI designed to detect the bias can have or create its own bias based on the training data, on the data on which it has been trained. Uh, I think that can be solved using the federated learning pattern, and also we can use RAG, retrieval augmented generation, for to basically personalize the model locally without compromising the data privacy. Also, the considering the journal entries are deeply personal to the human, and it might contain some sensitive data, the storage of the entries and the journal notes itself becomes a big challenge because it needs to be encrypted, and confidentiality is my main concern over here. Moving forward, where I this is like a POC, but moving forward, how I see this can grow is, one is guided journaling. Many people are not aware of how to start with the journaling process, when they're given with an empty canvas, it's difficult for them to understand or think of what are the things they can write down. So guided journaling, where the AI prompts them and nudges them into the right direction to extract maximum useful entries. That is one potential direction which we can think of. Second is professional help, where we're collaborating with the therapist themselves, who can consult this product uh, as a medium or a platform for both of the therapists and their patients to connect a common platform, and both of them can see the analysis and the dashboard and help understand the mindset of the user or the patient. And last is what I mentioned earlier, federated learning and RAG, which acts as a solution for the algorithmic bias and of fairness. So, so yeah, I think sentient is a proof of concept for the externalization of the self-awareness. I think I'm a bit over my time. Okay, thank you. Bye.